Welcome to Journey to Joy Live. I'm Dr. Enjoy, and I have my husband, Juan Mena, joining us tonight.
Hello, we're here.
Yes, we are. So,
we are here.
September is National Recovery Month, and it's also Suicide Prevention Awareness Month as well. But I decided that going into Recovery Month would be a better segue, since last week we talked about the International Overdose Awareness Day. And so we're going to talk about recovery today. Don't worry, I'm going to address the suicide prevention at some point this month. But today here, we've got Juan Mena, my special guest. So usually when I have a guest on the show, I talk about how we met. So naturally, we're going to talk about how did we meet? How long have we known each other? 8 years?
8 years now, yeah. Yeah, 8 years. Seems like yesterday, honestly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I slid into your inbox.
You sure did.
On Facebook.
Yeah.
Met him on Facebook, so naturally we're going live together on Facebook.
Yeah.
Yay. But yeah, so anyhow, we were long distance for a couple years, and I moved here, and the rest is history.
Yeah. It's been a blessing. What a journey.
It's definitely been a journey.
Yeah.
And speaking of journey, we're here to talk about your journey to recovery. Yeah. So tell us about your journey to recovery. What are you recovering from?
So alcoholism, that was my drug of choice, was, alcohol, any type of alcohol, really.
Mm-hmm. Anytime.
So that was really just, my getaway, just to kind of remove myself from any issues that I was going through. And, there's nothing sexy, nothing glamorous about being an alcoholic. Some people may glamorize it once they're in the fight, but there's nothing sexy about it.
How do you think you got into it, or how did you think you started to see it was a problem? Because a lot of times people start using their drug of choice and they don't realize it's a problem. They're just having fun.
Yeah. It just manifested slowly over an extended period of time.
Yeah.
I went to Coppin State University, went to college. That was my first time away from home.
Yeah.
I was very sheltered, living in Queens, New York. And the first time I landed on campus, it was, I had freedom. Mm-hmm. And I slowly lost control, at Coppin State. It was fun. It was fun. But it progressed. And that's when it became dark, unfortunately. I moved to Atlanta in 2006. Came down with my best friend at the time, my college roommate.
Right.
Shout out to Diedrich.
See, watch it.
Shout out to Diedrich Page.
But yeah, addiction kind of creeps up on you. Yeah. It's not like people are going to make a choice like, okay, I'm going to start using crack and I'm going to get addicted. It's no one really chooses that route. No one chooses it at all. I shouldn't put the word really in there. It happens to your brain, and you love it, and it changes your brain chemistry. We talked about that last week, how it changes your brain chemistry. You're just kind of used to that reward or trying to get away. A lot of people use it as self-medication for other things. Correct.
Yeah, it's just, like for me, it was just like an empty pit. I know it's just, hurt people attract hurt people. And at the time, I had my own trauma. I was going through a custody battle. I wouldn't see my son. A lot of people know how much I love my family, how much I love my son, Aiden. And there was a period of time that I wouldn't see my son for 6 months at a time. And that just further spiraled me down to a dark place. And the only thing I knew that would help me get away was alcohol. Mm-hmm. And it's weird because I thought that no one noticed. I thought I was doing a great job at hiding it, but I know my coworkers knew it. I know my friends knew it. My family definitely knew.
What do you think they knew? What did they see?
Just the inconsistency. I just wasn't reliable. I wasn't trustworthy. I wasn't a good friend. I wasn't a good son, a good brother. Mm-hmm. So they knew, and here I am thinking, I got it together. No one knows that I have a drinking problem, and it's just I isolated myself. It got to the point where it's just I just wanted to be alone because I let down so many people. But rock bottom, it's a beautiful place in the sense that there's only one way, and that's up.
And what is rock bottom? Because people say a lot of times rock bottom, like what you just said, there's no place but up. Like, what really is that?
Well, for me, rock bottom was almost 4 years ago.
Almost 4 years ago, he's been in recovery.
Yeah, so almost 4 years. November 23rd, 2019. Mm-hmm. That was the last time I went out. I remember going out to the gathering spot with a mutual friend.
Mutual friend.
Yeah.
We're still friends.
Yeah, we're still friends.
Not that friend's fault.
We're still friends. Definitely not. Yeah, definitely not his fault. And one thing I want to touch upon is accountability. Mm-hmm. You know, it's huge because while I was in it, I blamed everyone else. Like, it wasn't me. It was, it's, the mother of my son's fault. Oh, it's, this person's fault, this person's fault, my friend's fault. And everyone used to let me down. And I used to get, so defensive so quickly. And I just got to a point where it's me,
And that's the thing, accepting responsibility.
Correct.
Because a lot of people can't internalize that, externalize that.
Yeah. So going back to
So you're a rock bottom.
My rock bottom, going out, after a night of hanging out, my buddy drives me home. Because
you were so sick.
Yeah, I felt sick. Yeah, I felt sick. Yeah. And I remember coming home, and it just reminded me of my days in Coppin State, like those binge nights at Hammerjacks that everyone knows back in Baltimore. Mm-hmm. I got home, and I just felt like I was dying. I was literally dying. I had never felt that way before.
Yeah.
I remember just throwing up. I got butt naked.
I was going to say.
Started hugging the garbage can in the middle of our
2 a.m.
kitchen at 2 a.m. It was terrible, and it was really sad. Yeah, it was really sad to be in that state, because I just felt like I let her down, I let myself down, and trigger. This could be a trigger for some, but I know we had been trying to get pregnant, at the time, 4 years ago, and we had a miscarriage. And I remember laying on the ground and me praying to God to just get me through this. And I remember just saying, Lord, if I stop drinking today, if I just cut it off, would you allow us to get pregnant? And I just, that was my moment. Like, that was my awakening. A
lot of times it takes something to happen, some fear or loss of money or somebody leaving you that makes that person, that rock bottom.
Yeah, that was my rock bottom. And that was my turning point. And, from that day on, it was tough, because I just had cravings, and it's unfortunate, it's a disease.
Yeah.
I would wake up and, I wanted some wine, I wanted some Jaeger, I wanted some tequila, I just wanted something to help me. But it's one day at a time. And, here we are. I'll be 4 years sober, November 23rd,
exactly.
2 years before my birthday.
Yeah, and like I said, it really could hit anybody. I know some people might picture like someone on the street, someone poor, someone whatever, but addiction can really get at anybody. And I don't know if I knew. I kind of thought of you as like a social drinker.
And that's what a lot of, so many people have stories, wine stories of drinking, wild nights,
But a lot of our arguments were while you were intoxicated. That says a lot.
Yeah,
because we didn't argue as much after you recovered.
Looking back, a lot of my issues involved alcohol. A lot of my bad decisions involved alcohol. So once I eliminated alcohol, it's amazing the transformation in your life and the blessings that started to rain down on me.
Yeah.
And the transformation and a lot of the relationships that I damaged in the past, it took a long time to regain their trust. My family, my close friends. It was difficult. Difficult conversations had to be had, and just being open. Once I started talking about, my alcoholism, like it just kind of like freed.
It made you feel, feel good about being able to talk about it. Because that's the thing, people feel judged when they're addicted, shamed, stigmatized. And that's why we're doing this. in order to break the stigma, we have to talk about it. We have to make it a normal subject to talk about and just be transparent. Like people might think, oh my God, that psychiatrist has a recovering husband on his life. That is okay. Why is it easy for us to say, oh, I just ate all that cake, my diabetes is going to act up. It's so easy to say that. We don't feel ashamed, or, oh, my high blood pressure, oh, this. We don't feel ashamed by that.
Yeah.
And, addiction, I guess we feel like it's like a choice we made or something like that. But you did not choose to become addicted. The same way you didn't choose diabetes. You didn't choose your genetic makeup that made you susceptible to diabetes.
No, but still, the accountability part, even though I didn't choose it, I still had to build up my willpower to say no.
And again, that's the same thing. With most other medical diseases, we have to build up our willpower to say no to that cheesecake. We can talk diets on another podcast, but being able to stick with that changed lifestyle so that you won't have high blood pressure or diabetes. So same with addiction. One can say it's harder.
Yeah, it is. But how did it affect you?
Right.
Yeah, because I want to get your point of view.
I think as far as family members, how it affects family members. I think that, like I said, I wasn't sure if I could tell, or maybe I was being in denial because I was just like, I don't know, because I see alcoholism and drug use, substance use disorders all the time in my practice. So I guess in my head it wasn't like that, but when I thought about it,
she doesn't drink. I just want to I don't know if people know that.
Well, that goes into a whole nother thing.
Yeah, my wife doesn't drink.
I don't drink because I know that addiction runs in my family, and that's really why I went into psychiatry. Yeah. My father suffered from addiction majority of his life, and I was in denial with that.
Yeah.
I never wanted to talk about it. I never wanted to talk to him about it. And I felt that it was this disease that just can't be cured. And I was always let down by him not being able to remain in recovery. And he ended up passing away due to complications of his long life in addiction, long battle. The lung issues, cocaine can affect the heart. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And it's just amazing. I know for me, I remember when you reached out to me and I was just going through your profile. I was like, oh my gosh, what does she...
Not alcohol.
Yeah. Like I just saw you living your life and, you just naturally high.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes you just have to know yourself. Yeah. I'm not saying like you have to do no drinking and no, none of that. But if you know yourself and you know you're susceptible, then why not stay away from it? Because there's other great things in life that makes you feel good and makes you get high. I run to feel high.
Yeah. I know for a fact that I can't. I remember being sober for a year. I completed a year. And I remember going to this New Year's Eve party in downtown Atlanta, and they were giving out champagne glasses. Oh, Happy New Year. And in my head, I knew that I should not take that one glass because it would just spiral me down, a dark road. I remember as soon as I took that sip, that one sip led me to 6 Jaeger bombs.
Yeah. So for some people, it's like all or none. Like for you, you're like, oh, because some people can't just have like a little bit and you'll be done.
I wish I could, but I already know that I might as well just eliminate it. For me, and I know my buddies now, they can drink around me. It's because I've strengthened, I think, my armor. But I still have the cravings.
Right. He allows people to drink around him. Yeah. We have alcohol in our house so that when guests come by, they can drink. Some people can't do that. They have to stay away from it completely. And you'll know yourself, once you enter that recovery. Someone else on here is talking about how their family, they had a family full of addicts as well. So it's there.
Coppin State.
Oh, really? Coppin State?
CSU.
Yeah. So, I wanted to talk about the stages of change because I don't know if you knew when you were in what stage. It seemed like you did it fast. Probably not to you, but to me, it felt fast.
Yeah.
But the first stage of change, when you're trying to think about getting off of that drug or the alcohol, whatever it is pre-contemplation. Contemplation is thinking about it. So if you pre-contemplation, you're not even thinking about it.
But for me, it was like, will I lose my social life? I think a big part of who I was this social butterfly, and you know, and I thought that if I quit liquor, that I would lose that, you know, lose myself, lose my identity.
Yeah. And by the time you got to that, you're in the contemplation stage where you actually were thinking about it, but not doing anything about it yet.
Correct. But, you know, once I stopped, it was just, I'm like, what's the point?
Once you stopped, you stopped.
Yeah, once I stopped, I stopped. And a lot of people do go through AA meetings.
Yeah, and that's once you get to the action, but between contemplation and action is preparation. Do you feel like there was much preparation where you were kind of preparing for that recovery but hadn't entered it yet?
So for me, I had to remove myself from circles. I had to remove myself from certain situations that would trigger me. It wasn't anything that person did to me, you know, directly, but it was just...
You knew you were triggered.
I knew my triggers, and I just had to remove myself and step back and then just set my priorities. Because the whole, you know, Atlanta scene, it's a lot of partying out here in these streets.
Yeah, and it's really about confidence. And I talked about peer pressure a couple of weeks ago. I'm recognizing what someone's saying. When you say you don't drink, people look at you like you're crazy. And that's interesting because I actually literally said that to some people a few weeks ago. When I was pregnant, I feel this weight lifted where if I say I don't drink, people are like, oh yeah, of course you're pregnant. You can't drink. But then now that I'm not pregnant anymore, I feel like I have to explain myself. Or they'll be like, oh, it's because you're breastfeeding.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I don't drink anyway. It wasn't because of the pregnancy that I wasn't drinking. But it's about being confident and not caring what other people are thinking. Because the social aspect, I'm social anyway. Correct. I've been at parties acting drunk like everybody else in the party. They're like, what? Nina, you're not drinking. You seem like you're drunk. But
I had to build to that because I was so used to just having a Corona in my hand or, you know, just going to a bar and, you know, rounds for everyone and myself. That was what I got used to. But, yeah, I just can't, you know.
So once you get in that preparation phase, it's about, you know, maybe cutting people off or cutting those triggers out, you know, using those resources in the community, watching podcasts, things like that, going to AA, going to NA, having sponsors, church, seeing the psychiatrist if you need to, getting closer to God, whatever coping skills, seeing a therapist to help you get through. You got to round up all of your family members.
And I know we did couples therapy, you know, before we got married, and that helped out a lot as well, to just internalize your own issues and to me, just the communication.
You need couples therapy to face it with your spouse. Exactly. Individual therapy, couples therapy, families therapy if it's affecting the children. Because that can happen. Yeah. Luckily, so, I mean, that's you in recovery. We had your other two children.
Yeah.
So
like for my
they
goal,
haven't even noticed.
No.
They don't know us.
No. Like
your drunk dad. No.
Like my goal was, one of my goals were for them to never see me drink. So now it's just normal. Like my son Aiden, you know, I have full custody. A lot of you guys know my journey with my eldest son, Aiden. And yeah, he knows I don't drink anymore. He's like, yeah, Dad doesn't drink. You know, give him a Sprite, give him a water, a lemonade, light ice. So that was one of my goals, for them to never see me inebriated, never see me drunk, because it's passed down from generation. I'm Colombian, so my culture is liquor and partying and having a great time.
Is that right? Because someone said the HBCU cultivates that culture. It's the white colleges too.
She went to Michigan.
Right. PWI, predominantly white. It's the PWIs too.
She's HBCU-ish. She worked at Morehouse.
Because I worked at Morehouse School of Medicine. But yeah, it can be everywhere. Yeah. It is in that control, which can be hard, but it is a disease for sure. And I had to accept that with my father. I know that I would give up at times. And, you know, they say that tough love, and you, as a family member of someone, you don't have to, you know, give your all. You can be there to support, but you don't have to be there financially. And he knew. He knew that I wouldn't give him money. I'll order you some pizza, but I'm not going to give you money. So he knew that. And I don't want people feeling like they have to be there financially to support that person. But be there as someone who's listening when they're ready, or who can give them that same list of resources, that same recovery, drive them there if you wish. But that can be hard on family too.
Because at the end of the day, it's on that person to want to change. Like my wife, she couldn't do anything. It had to take, myself to just become accountable for me to just decide to want to change.
Yeah.
To give up the BS and just fulfill the potential.
Right. And recovery is not just about getting over substance use. It's about our mental health too, our wellness journey. Yeah. How do you think that tied in, taking care of your mental health in order to make sure that recovery stayed in recovery?
Yeah, I think just, a lot of times we lose our own identity. I was Aiden's dad. I was Nina's husband, Legend's dad. I had to just continue to do things that made me happy, go to baseball games and just continue to love me, love myself.
And working out.
Yeah, working out, started running and, running again. And I just had to
get involved with other things because the alcohol, the drug, that
takes up so much
space. So when it's no longer there, you have this full bill that you need to fill. I remember when I was working at the VA ages ago when I was in residency, there was this list of 100 things you could do when you kick that cigarette habit. Yeah. And it was like, buy a pet a pet, watch a bird. It was like just small random things to replace that habit, that addiction. Yeah. And if you're self-medicating, a lot of people that I talk to, I ask them, well, what is the drug? What does the marijuana do for you? What does the crack do? Whatever it is, what does that drug do for you? Oh, it helps me with anxiety. Oh, it helps me sleep. Oh, it helps with my depression, even though in the long run, alcoholism can make you depressed. Correct. It's a depressant. Yeah. But anyhow, and I'm like, what? It sounds like you're self-medicating. Yeah. What if I can give you a medication that could help your anxiety, your untreated depression, your untreated mental illness, so that you won't turn to that drug? And they're like, oh, yeah, let's try that instead.
But tequila tastes so good.
It tastes good, but a life without the damages of alcohol and drugs and heartache and all that is even better.
Amen.
Right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I think we are having a great life.
Oh man, it's a blessing. It's been a blessing.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely has.
So what else we got on here? Oh, yeah. So we went through all the stages: pre-contemplation, contemplation, preparation, action, and then after action, because you took action, you stopped, maintenance. Yeah. You're in the maintenance phase.
Correct, yeah. And then just realizing that, my boys, they just take up so much of my time. And that's, it filled that, the void that I once had, I had to fill it myself, with words of affirmation to myself. No one can make you whole but yourself. Yeah, it's not a 50-50 relationship. Mm-hmm. I had to become whole in order to be the man that she needed me to be. And I had to fill that void in. And then now, you guys see me with these boys, man. I love them. Yeah. And it's the biggest blessing. Should we go for the girl?
We shall see. I don't know. Maybe we should put a poll up on that. But someone's comment is making me remember that once you get to the maintenance and you are in there, you are steady, it's staying. For some people, it doesn't stay. Yeah. For some people, it's that cycle of relapse.
You need your guard up. You need to keep your guard up.
I still applaud people like, you know what? You once were in recovery for a year. You can get back to that. Yeah. So it can happen again, even though it's hard and you beat yourself up because you're in this endless cycle. But it can happen. And prayer. I've used prayer too, but it's hard. Prayer helps you. Yeah. It's like a meditation for yourself while you are dealing with a family member. But it like you said, it's up to that person.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, it was me. I remember, and I sometimes I even ask her. I said, "Honey, you think I should just have one drink?" And she's like, "Hell no."
Oh, right. You said you asked me, "Do you think I'll ever drink again?"
Yeah.
And I said, "Well, you know what? No." Yeah. Because of the all or none personality
Correct.
that you have.
Correct.
And I think that's okay.
Yeah. And I still have cravings. I still want to drink sometimes. I used to go to baseball games. I remember just getting a beer.
Cold beer,
Yeah,
that
get a cold beer.
tradition.
Yeah, it's the tradition.
So we create new traditions.
Exactly, yeah.
You still go and have your me time. Sometimes you take your family.
Yeah, that's my little
So
getaway.
just changing the tradition.
Yeah. Correct.
Yeah. So I don't know if people paid attention to the stats in my reel. I think that's interesting. So 43.7 million people need recovery or needed recovery last year, but only 4.1 million, still a lot, 4.1 million had actually been in recovery. And so what is stopping that? You know, because for you didn't end up going to AA or NA or NEDA.
I contemplated. I used to
you
live.
looked up places.
Yeah. I used to live across the street from one in Roswell.
But for some people, they don't enter, and some people, it's so severe that they need to be hospitalized and have inpatient rehab or recovery, or inpatient rehab in order to get into the recovery phase. So what do we say to people who's even in that pre-contemplation phase? It's like, I don't have a problem.
You have to, you know, for me, you just have to acknowledge the issue. You know, just lay all your cards down and just be honest with yourself. You know, where are you? Where are you trying to go? Are you truly happy? Because I know for me, I wasn't happy at all. You know, once I exposed my just everything, I put everything out there. I just realized that it just wasn't worth it.
Yeah,
it was expensive. Not just financially, but just emotionally.
And expensive.
Yeah.
You want to talk about that? You always tell your friends about that. Yeah. You're like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday,
Atlanta,
not Monday.
Correct, because it was industry night. So I used to hang out in Atlanta. Seriously, I used to party from Tuesday to Sunday. I couldn't hang on Mondays because it was industry night. I couldn't afford it.
It's expensive.
So I would go out almost every
But that's
day.
how people do end up on the shoot. They spend all their money. They might lose their job if it affects their job. It never affected your job.
No.
Yeah, it never affected. But for
I've
some
been
people,
with my
it
company
does.
for 10 years now.
Yeah. Which is why it went hidden. But I think you hid it with me too.
Yeah, but correct. It was just a mask that I would put on. Because you know, you see the happy drunk person. It's all smiles, but then when I remember going home, that's when the sadness would set in. You know, the insecurities creeped out, and that's when I was just fully exposed. And that's when I just realized, man, I have an issue.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's cool. You know, Jägerbomb won. You know, life of the party. Oh, he's so crazy. But inside, I was in pain.
That.
I liked it at the moment, but it was so temporary.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
With liquor, it was just temporary. And then once I was by myself.
Well, honey, I am so proud of you for being so strong, for doing that for me and for your family, your kids. I think that is completely amazing.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, I mean, I feel like we have a great marriage.
Yeah,
you know,
it's beautiful.
You know, we had a lot of growth before that. We still have growth, but it's been great. And you know, it's hard to say, like, do you leave that person because they're an alcoholic? You know, that kind of thing. Because
sometimes you have to leave them.
Sometimes you do. In this case, it worked out. It's amazing.
Yeah.
But I'm not here. You know, that's case by case. Go to your therapist, talk to them about
Correct.
that. This didn't work out. But anything else you want to say? I don't even know how long we've been on here, but anything else you want to say?
You know, I have a lot of guys inbox me and just looking for that special sauce, looking for, you know, what's the magic pill? What did you do? And it takes hard work. Commitment. Just continue.
Consistency.
Yeah, continue to battle. Continue to fight. Day by day. You know, it's a real cliche. Say, one day at a time. It's like running. It's a marathon. You know, it's just take it. I used to take it morning. It's like, all right, I survived the morning. You know, I didn't have a drink in the morning. So let's knock out the afternoon. So I would just break down my day in segments.
Hour, day by day.
Yeah, it's just, that's what you have to do. Just stay strong. Surround yourself with people who love you unconditionally. That's huge. My family was there for me when I was down and out. And they're still there, thank God. Just continue to fight. And yeah, I'm praying for you. And just continue, man. Just continue to fight. You can do it.
You can do it. Every person, every family, and every community. That's the tagline for National Recovery Month. But yeah, even if I don't want people to say, well, I don't have a family. Even if you didn't have a family, you don't have insurance, there's places that take people without insurance. Chris 180 takes people that doesn't have insurance. That's where I work. AA meetings and NA meetings are free. So I want you thinking there's so many support groups on Facebook too.
Yeah. YouTube meetings, inspirational. Just
meditation
and talk about it. Mm-hmm. Just be open. Just be honest with yourself. Be honest with your friends and family.
Right.
And you'll be surprised how many people are on that journey with you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just us posting what we posted yesterday. People are just coming out. And it's like, come out. Let's all come out. We have reasons to come out about different things, you know? Mm-hmm. And just talking about it and being honest. And that's okay. As long as you have somebody you trust. Exactly. But all right. I think we are good for today's Journey to Joy. Thank you for joining me. I said, when are you going to join me?
I know, she pushed me. I didn't want to join. But I got my new teeth.
I waited until he got his new teeth. I said, you got your new teeth. Go on, show everybody your teeth.
Yeah. If you want to fly to Medellin, Colombia, and get yourself some teeth as well, hit me up. Let me know.
Oh, you doing a plug for your teeth. Yeah. That is hilarious. Well, okay. Thank you for your comments. Going over to my page, like and follow me so you know when I'm live again. I'm also on YouTube and Instagram. Just trying to get the awareness out. It's not about me. It's about telling people, being transparent, breaking down that stigma of mental health and mental illness. Yeah. Thank you, everyone, for joining.